there, but here is morning time, so he would sing. Huh? I'll just sing us to begin with. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. Kotanidra Jayo Maya Pisachira Kole. Kotanidra Jayo Maya Pisachira Kole. Vajibo Balia Ese Samsara Vitare. Vajibo Balia Ese Kamshara More Buliaro Hile Tumi Avijara Bore. Nobody's there. What's it called, this song? Arunadaya Kirtan. There we go. I'll put it on the screen, okay? This is part 2 of Arunadaya Kirtan. Can we screen show? I'm going to get on first, I guess. Pavement card slide. There we go. You have to go back. Screen. Yeah, screen share. And here? Yep. And share. Yep. Can you see it? Can you guys see it? Yes or no, Marty?
Yes, yes, Marge.
Good show, boy. Okay, let's sing a song. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Today, I don't know about where you are, but today is Adivas. Tomorrow, here in France, is Purnima. Some places it may be a different day. So today is Adivas. Lord Chaitanya would go out in the mornings, early mornings, sunrise, doing kirtan around the village, around the town. So this is a great way to welcome Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we'll sing this very simple and short song. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Runadaya Kirtan. Song sung at dawn, a little after dawn here, but still morning. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanda Bole. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanda Bole. Kotani Rajayo Maya Pishachira Kole. Kotani Rajayo Maya Pishachira Kole. Vajibo Balia Ese Samsara Vitare. Vajibo Balia Ese Samsara Vitare. Bulia Rohile Tumi Vidyarabare. Bulia Rohile Tumi Vidyarabare. Press the button. Tomara Lohite Ami Oino Avatar. Tomare Lohite Ami Oino Avatar. Ami Bina Bandova Kea Chetomar. Ami Bina Bandova Kea Chetohan Enechi Oshari Maya Nashibarolagi Enechi Oshari Maya Nashibarolagi Harinam Mahamantra Lotumi Magi Harinam Mahamantra Lotumi Magi Bhakati Vinoda Prabhu Charane Puriya Bhakati Vinoda Prabhu Charane Puriya Se Hari Nama Mantra Loilo Magiya Se Hari Nama Mantra Loilo Magiya Jeev Jago Gaura Chanda Bole Jeev Jago Gaura Chanda Bole Kotanidra Jayo Maya Pishachira Kole Kotanidra Jayo Maya Pishachira Kole Namao Vishnu Padaya Krishna na prestaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna prestaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pastyachari Chatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivasesha Sunyavadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasati Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Gauranga Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Gauranga Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bo, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtata Satashrila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koda Vaishnavinda ki. Namacharya Shri Thakur ki. Prem Se Kaho. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki. Shri Vrindavana Dham ki. Shri Mayapur Dham ki. Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Ganga Maya ki. Jamuna Maya ki. Tulsi Deva ki. Bhakti Deva ki. Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki. Lord Chaitanya's Harinama Sankirtan ki. Transcendental Book Distribution ki. Go Premanande. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Haribo. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastai Bhatale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Sarasvate Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nivasesha Sanyavadi Pastachade Shatani Vanchaka Patrubhyascha Kripa Sindhi Bhevacha Patinam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Hare Krishna. So, where are we? Where we are. Hare Krishna. So today, I want to get this on. So today is the, as we mentioned, Adivas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gopurnim Festival tomorrow. It's not on at the moment. We're going to have a little bit of a difference today to prepare. That was the beginning. We've got to get to that screen, the other screen. This one. And then we've got to get to the other one.
You have to share it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's on. Okay, so today I thought we would discuss a little bit about a wonderful compilation. It's called Chaitanya Sataka. Some of you may have heard about it. It's got several names. It's also called Sushloka Shataka. Sushloka Sataka. Su means auspicious, Shloka verses, and Sataka means 100. 100 auspicious verses glorifying Lord Chaitanya. It's also called Sarvabhauma Shataka. Sarvabhauma Shataka is because these 100 verses were compiled by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Shrupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gododai Pushpavanto Chito Shamo Tamonudo Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Trishe Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So just to set a little foundation in place, after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the order of sannyas at the age of 24, on the request of his mother, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri and resided most of the remainder of his life in Jagannath Puri. He traveled on and off over a period of 6 years, but mostly he was based in Puri. And when he arrived in Puri, and he took the darshan of Lord Jagannath, at that time, he fainted in ecstasy. And of course, many of the priests, they didn't understand. They thought it was a show. They were about to beat him. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was the chief priest, one of the chief priests there in the Jagannath Puri temple, prevented them from doing so. He was convinced that this was not a show, this was a manifestation of ecstasy. So he had Lord Chaitanya taken to his home. Lord Chaitanya was young, sannyasi, and Sarvabhauma was an elderly Brahmin. So he was very worried about the condition of this young Brahmin. So he took him to this young sannyasi, he took him to his home, and he couldn't revive him, but he found that he was still within the body. There was still some tiny symptoms of life there. And when the other devotees, because Lord Chaitanya had left, he had a small group of devotees with him. And Nityananda Prabhu and Jagadananda and a few others were with him. And he had left them because Nityananda had played some tricks with his danda. He left them and went ahead on his own to Puri. And after some time, the other devotees arrived, and they were disturbed because they couldn't find Chaitanya. They knew he would go straight to the Jagannath temple, but they couldn't find him anywhere. And then after some discussion, Gopinath Acharya, the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma, informed them what had happened. So then they all went off to Sarvabhauma's house, and there they saw the Lord. Apparently looked like he was left his body, basically, motionless, hardly any sign of life. And they were all very concerned. So then they started loud kirtan. And when the kirtan started, Lord Chaitanya woke up. So what to speak of us? Even the Lord is always teaching us lessons. The waking up call, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanda Bole. Wake up, sleeping souls. Lord Chaitanya was not sleeping in the lap of the witch called Maya. Quite to the contrary, he was in deep, ecstatic, emotional feelings of love for the Lord. But we're absorbed in material consciousness. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, wake up, sleeping soul. So anyway, they started the kirtan. Lord Chaitanya came to his external consciousness. So thereafter was some time. Then Lord, and then arrangements were made for prasadam and so on and so forth. And then the Sarvabhauma was very worried. This young man, very handsome, beautiful form, very young, has taken sannyas. What is this? He's left his beautiful young wife and his mother who is without her husband, and he's taken the renounced order. This is very strange, very risky. And he's not even studied the Vedanta. You know, all sannyasis in the Shankara Sampradaya, their essential foundation is a deep, intensive study of the Vedanta, the various branches of the Vedas, etc. So this young man is practically uneducated. He's like a sentimental fanatic. He needs to be educated. So Sarvabhauma then, because he was like practically speaking, the chief pandit and priest there in Puri. Many, even sannyasis were coming to learn from him. So he said that you should, this is very risky, young man. I want to protect you. I'm very worried that at this young age you might fall into Maya. He didn't understand at all who Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. He could understand he's a very special personality, but he couldn't understand his real identity. In fact, he would argue with his brother-in-law about the identity. Gopinath Acharya was convinced that Lord Chaitanya was God. And what is the proof of this? Sarvabhauma would say, which quote from scripture, don't just talk sentimental stuff. They would argue with each other. Who is this Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, sannyasi? Who is he? So anyway, so Lord Chaitanya, he said, yes, you're right. I am foolish. I need to be educated. So for 7 days and nights, or maybe not nights, but 7 days non-stop, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was speaking on the science of the Vedas, on Vedanta and various limbs of the Vedic knowledge to try to explain the truth to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to help him to become fixed in his vows of sannyas. So 7 days passed by, and Lord Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, didn't say a word. After 7 days, Sarvabhauma said he was a little bit, let's say, exhausted in a sense, let's say frustrated is not the word, but perplexed. He said to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, look, I'm not sure whether you're understanding or not. I've been speaking now for 7 days and you haven't said a word, you haven't asked a question. Have you understood anything I've taught you? Do you understand what I'm teaching you? The Veda, the Vedanta. Do you understand what I'm teaching you? And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I understand Vedanta very well. I fully understand the Vedas, but what you've spoken have completely obfuscated, covered the Vedas. I don't understand what you're talking about. It's all speculation. Sarvabhauma was astonished. No one had ever dared say that to him. He was taken aback. So, if you have another idea, then you explain. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he just took one aspect of the teaching, the Atmarama verse, which is in the Bhagavatam also, and explained it from 64 different angles, taking every word and explaining it in its so many different ways. Sarvabhauma was absolutely astonished. He'd never heard such an explanation in his life on the deep meaning of this verse describing the nature of the truth. And he was shocked. And he realized that, this is not an ordinary personality. And he actually bowed down. Lord Chaitanya then, in those days, people had a little bit of honesty and humility. And then Lord Chaitanya revealed to him this Sadbhuj form, 6-armed form. And Sarvabhauma then was convinced that this sannyasi is indeed the Supreme Person. So then then Lord Chaitanya, there and then on the spot, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya compiled this Sarvabhauma Shataka or Chaitanya Shataka, right on the spot, 100 verses, just like the wind. He just spoke these 100 verses, glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're going to probably not get through them. I don't know how many hours I've taken putting this together. It was a very deep, nice absorption in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but many days of putting this little presentation together, which I hope someone will use again in the future. We won't get through it. It's 100 verses, unless you stay all day long. Probably won't get through it. So we're going to try to get on there now and try to get it. I'm not quite 100% sure how I'm going to get it, but I'll try. I don't even know if it's on. Have I got to do something first, or I open this first? What should I do?
Open it first.
Open that first. There we go.
And now we go back.
Go back, but how do I go back? That's a good question, Mark. I'm not 100% sure how to do that. That was where the block came. I don't know how to go back. I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of technical problem here. I'm not really sure how to do that. Can you go there? Is there a place for Zoom somewhere? I've done it before. I don't know why it's not working now. Have to hold on. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Maybe we're getting there. Yes, Janananda has found the secret. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Can we see the screen?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So this is a painting of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maybe at this point he's asking Lord Chaitanya, so you explain. I don't know exactly, but it looks like. So we'll begin. I'm not going to read the Sanskrit, it's in Sanskrit. And this is the conviction. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was revealing his form as Krishna and Ram as well as Gauranga. This doesn't show what it does. It shows them as three separate forms. But we know that the Sadbush form is one form with the 6 arms carrying the various symbols. Ecstatic. If you go to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, you can see the painting on the wall. Sorry, we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it later. I don't know. We'll see. So I'll begin. O Gauranga, I offer this garland of 100 verses unto your lotus feet for the pleasure of the devotees. O merciful Lord, please be kind to me. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this is because we oftentimes try to understand the esoteric nature of the Lord, and that's an essential part of our Sambandha Gyan, or our basic knowledge in Krishna consciousness. But it's also important to have an understanding of where we're at. We talk about the Lord coming to experience the mood, the emotions of Radharani, to experience the mood of separation, no doubt. These are the essential reasons for the Lord's coming. We talk about the Lord coming to spread the Sankirtan movement and for the prayers of the Vetacharya and others, etc. Various reasons he may have appeared in this world. But for us to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to become absorbed in a mood which is relevant for our progress in spiritual life is also important. So try to understand this one point, that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya previously was a wrangling speculator. He described himself as being a monist, simply talking all kinds of nonsense. And now you have saved me from this trap. So we've also come from various traps, maybe not wrangling, philosophical speculation, or maybe, but usually not, usually materialistic lifestyle, perhaps with some veneer of some impersonal philosophy of some kind. So we've also come from that. And he's just come out of this illusion by the grace of Lord Chaitanya. It's by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we can come out of whatever illusion we're in, whatever trap we're in, whatever false understandings which we may have maybe covered by, etc. So now these are his prayers, and he did it on the spot, there and then. There was no break. He just immediately, spontaneously spoke these 100 verses. So let's see, we'll move forward a little bit. So his first verse is just offering this for the pleasure of the devotees, for our benefit. You'll find there's a thread here in these verses. There's also a lot of repetition, but the repetition is on slightly different levels, you could say, of whatever, meditation on the Lord. This, of course, the Panchatattva dancing in the villages. Lord Chaitanya introduces the loving service of Radha and Krishna in every home as he dances wonderfully in Sankirtan, overwhelmed with love. Just imagine, this is the Sankirtan movement of the Harinam Sankirtan, accompanied by book distribution, prasad, whatever else, to go everywhere. Prativati Achiyati Nagarati Gram, Savatra Pachurhoibi Morana, to go every town and every village. We haven't done it. Even in New Zealand, which is a small country with lots of devotees, I bet there are many, many villages, small towns, where we have not performed Sankirtan Yogya. Maybe there aren't, but quite likely there are. There's everywhere in the world, people are waiting for Lord Chaitanya's mercy. In fact, Srila Prabhupada, there's one statement, we don't know exactly where it is, but there's another statement which confirms it, that in every village, every town, there are devotees. We just have to go there. By the performance of Sankirtan, they will be revealed. Just like the holy places were revealed by the performance of Sankirtan. So we'll go on to the next one. Lord Chaitanya's mood. Take the holy name. Chanting the sweet holy names of the Lord, Lord Gauranga distributes the mellows of devotional service to the world. This is one of the statements in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, that by performance of this Sankirtan, the Lord and his associates make it easy for people to relish the four loving exchanges of devotional service. Four positive ones: friendship, service, friendship, parenthood, conjugal love. So Lord Chaitanya is relishing these various mellows, and especially in performing this beautiful painting outside the Jagannath temple. Lord Chaitanya is performing Sankirtan and experiencing great ecstasy. Due to ecstatic love, tears flow from his eyes in 100 streams. It's said that tears would shoot out from his eyes like gushes. It would just be like, like the fire brigade would come to put the fire out. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tears were just like the fire brigade, extinguishing the fires in people's heart all around him. And they would become showered like tears shooting out of his lotus eyes. Everyone would be drowned in ecstatic love, and all their material desires and anxieties would be totally destroyed by the touch of the tears shooting out like jets out of the Lord's eyes. Tears flow from his eyes. His limbs shiver, and his body becomes wet with perspiration, a variety of ecstatic symptoms. He constantly teaches the living entities tormented by Kali, devotional service which follows in the mood of the gopis of Braj. The process which we're following, we can be a little humble, but is a process. If we follow the process, following in the footsteps of the eternal associates of the Lord, this process leads in that direction. How much we want to go, how much we follow the process, that's another thing. But this is the means, this is the path towards this mood of the gopis of Braj, this Sankirtan movement. Seeing the living entities fallen in Kali's ocean of filth, bewildered by lamentation and illusion, and always absorbed in serving their families, the most merciful Lord Gauranga, thinking of a means for their deliverance, gives them the holy name. He appeared in Navadvip as the son of Sachi in the form of a mendicant who was renowned and had a most sweetly beautiful body. Everything about Lord Chaitanya is sweet. Everything about him. Most people like sweets, but there's nothing sweeter than Lord Chaitanya. He's even sweeter than all the gulabs and burfis. Everything about him, every single aspect about Lord Chaitanya is unlimited, unending sweetness. So just seeing him is a great fortune. What to speak of having the opportunity to serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his mission. So he's come in this age, as we know, because of the fallen condition, out of compassion, that he's appeared in this form, this most merciful petite pavan form to deliver the conditioned souls. So Sarvabhauma is considering himself in this mood. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, is the only deliverer of the living entities in this world. There is no other deliverer of fallen souls other than the most merciful Lord Chaitanya. Whoever is averse to the service of his lotus feet certainly rots in hell, enjoying various miseries. Is actually described in the Chaitanya Chapter that you end up in the Kumbhipaka hell if one offends or doesn't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, most people don't know, they're just innocent, or if one is actually an offender, and that's where you get boiled pakora. They boil you into pakora in the oil there. I don't know what they do to you after that. We don't want that. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to save us, and that's why he took sannyas, so that wouldn't be the fate. He delivered all sorts: Buddhists, impersonalists, smarter Brahmins, Muslims, non-believers, atheists, all kinds of living entities. He somehow or another captured him in the net of Sankirtan. His intention wasn't just to write people off; it was to make them right, to bring them to their senses. He came as with Jagai and Madai. Lord Chaitanya was very angry because of Madai's offenses to Nityananda, but Nityananda, knowing the mission of the Lord, manifested unlimited mercy and protected actually Madai from having his head severed, which would have also been good for him, of course. That's another type of mercy. But he said, all the living entities in this age of Kali, my Lord, are like this Jagai and Madai practically. If we have to kill them, we'll have to kill everyone practically. Let's face it. How many people are really interested? Many people try to stop this movement out of ignorance or envy or whatever it is. And practically everyone, even our own minds. We have demons, Prabhupada said, in our own minds. Yes, let them be killed by the Sudarshan Chakra, but better that they be purified by absorbing ourselves in the Sangatam mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the real mercy, to spread the holy name, to spread the Sankirtan. This is Gaura Purnima, the chanting, the spreading of Lord Chaitanya's name. We're talking in terms of where we are. It's nice to talk about the transcendental internal reasons. We should know what the goals are, but we're not there. We're still rooted in speculation, and material sense gratification of various kinds, still on a false egotistical platform. Previously, Krishna enjoyed pastimes with Srimati Radharani in the forest of Vrindavan. Do this, little fellow. Now that same Lord again resides in this world, performing pastimes with Gadadhar. So that's a little bit about the internal. Lord Gadadhar, Pandit, wherever Lord Chaitanya went, he was there with him. He was just, we don't hear much, but practically his most confidential associate. All the time acting in such a way as to fulfill the Lord's internal purposes. Being an expansion of Radharani himself, he was always there to serve and flavor the Lord's mood of Radharani. So in one sense, Radharani was there to always remind him of, to embellish his purpose, internal purposes. Chanting the holy name and serving the Vaishnavas are the only medicine for the living entities tormented by Kali. Very nice. Huh? Two things. Lord Chaitanya and the Chaitanya Charitamrita have pretty much the same verse. These two activities are the primary activities for actually gaining not only deliverance from this world, but awakening love of Godhead, serving the Vaishnavas, and chanting the holy names. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur emphasizes so much in their talks on chanting Hare Krishna, how the key, the gateway to pure Shuddhanam is service to the Vaishnavas, service to the Guru. People in this age are so tormented. We're so tormented. We don't have to even look around. It's just being in this age. One can feel tormented by the atmosphere practically. The environment is so troublesome. Bhakti Siddhanta called it the characteristics of Kali Yuga. He said it's turmoil and annoyance. It's such a disturbing age. That's the characteristic. You can't get away from it. Just the way it is. They are bitten by the snake of repeated birth and death, fallen unconscious, and in this way always attacked by Maya. So there's Lord Chaitanya. He's just about to put Haridas Thakur. He's carrying him. Maybe he's putting him in samadhi or something. I think it's at the ocean. I'm not sure. It's kind of one of those condensed paintings. How the Lord loves his devotees, serves his devotees, especially those who are chanting the holy names constantly, like Haridas, showing the way. Haridas would also be always eager to serve the Vaishnavas. You can't do one without the other and think you can serve the Vaishnavas. You can do one of the two in the sense where serving the Vaishnavas is more important. But ultimately in the Vaishnava association, the chanting will go on. So serving the Vaishnavas is so important. Oh, sorry. The only medicine to cleanse the heart for the foolish people absorbed in material desires is to serve the spiritual master with faith and determination and to eat the Vaishnava's remnants. So because this is Srila Prabhupada distributing prasadam to eager hands. There's nice hands going out here. And whenever the opportunity came to receive the Mahaprasad of Srila Prabhupada, eager devotees would be, even if it was the orange peel or something which Prabhupada had spat out, that was the most sought after. The most sought after. If he chewed something and spat it out or whatever, it was really eager. Or Prabhupada would suck on the oranges. He wouldn't eat them like we do sometimes. But he would suck on them, just take the juice and leave the kind of the pith on the peel and leave it behind. The devotees would fight over those orange peels and eat the whole orange peel. Ecstasy. Maha prasadam, enthusiasm. Realizing that this is how we get off the bodily platform with common sense. But it was such an important thing, getting the remnants of the Lord's hand. That was taught the day after this event of Sarvabhauma being delivered. The next morning, early morning, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, purposely to show the world, he took Jagannath Mahaprasadam early in the morning to the house of Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma, he wasn't an earlier riser, he was a grihasta, you know how grihasta life is. It was more or less sunrise, and he'd just gotten up and he had not taken his bath and he hadn't even cleansed his mouth. He'd literally just risen. And Lord Chaitanya arrived at his abode, his residence, and immediately Sarvabhauma was ecstatic to see his Lord coming. And the Lord then presented him with this Mahaprasad. And Sarvabhauma immediately, without even cleansing himself, immediately honored the prasadam, and he stated that Mahaprasadam must be honored immediately, even if it's come from a far distant place, even if it's stale. If it's gone sickly bad, that's another thing. But he said it should be honored immediately without fail. It's the first priority. It's Krishna in this merciful form, prasadam. Hare Krishna. So there's Prabhupada always giving the mercy. Every time anyone would come to see Prabhupada, he would always say, make sure they get prasadam. He would never like anyone to leave without getting prasadam. He would consider that would be a great disservice. And a very important thing in our preaching movement is to try to give everyone prasadam. It's very important. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who is an ocean of mercy. O Lord of the universe, be merciful on me and engage me as your servant. Srila Prabhupada praying to Gaura. We should try to follow this mood of actually realizing that whatever we may have or think we've got, nothing is of any value without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. O Lord Chaitanya, you are always bestowing love of God to the fallen souls. I repeatedly pray that you accept me as your servant. Continuing the prayer. O my Lord, I am fallen and thus absorbed in the ocean of repeated birth and death. You are expert in delivering the fallen souls. Please be kind and deliver me. I surrender to your lotus feet. I put that picture in. I had to choose pictures over the last day or two. It took a long time. It's not like there's an easy, accessible library of pictures in this regards, searching. But this is a picture in Sarvabhauma's house. Sarvabhauma's on the left, Lord Chaitanya is lying down in a seemingly unconscious state. And the other devotees who've arrived, you can see Nityananda there in the blue, and they're chanting the holy names. And Lord Chaitanya is coming to consciousness. It's a beautiful painting, really beautiful. As far as I know, I guess one of them, maybe the one on the right lower side there, I don't know, is Gopinath Acharya. Beautiful painting. And another similar one in the same mood. This is Sarvabhauma surrendering to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you can see the Sadhguru's painting on the wall behind. You are the deliverer of the universe, and you are the Lord of all. You bestow all wealth. Indeed, you alone maintain the universe. You should come over here. You can't see the slideshow. Nice. You alone maintain the universe. O Gaura Hari, son of Sachi, by bestowing your service on me, make my life successful and protect me. And here's this must be in the house itself, which is a new, it wasn't there when I was there last, which is many years ago, I can't remember how many. Last time I went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, I got caught taking pictures and they confiscated my camera. I thought it was only the monkeys who did that. The residents there took my camera away, destroyed the film. They gave the camera back. It was a great shame that I had hundreds of other pictures on it. You can imagine how long ago that was a time when you had film really. I have heard from the Puranas, he said, about the mercy given by the incarnations, which is insufficient to deliver a sinful person like me. O Mahaprabhu, I therefore take shelter of your lotus feet. Yes, so many incarnations, but who else is giving love of God? They say, you surrender unto me or they kill you, which is a kind of liberation, but is not the one that we want. But Lord Chaitanya is delivering even persons who are, not personalist, materialist, even they don't surrender. He's so kind. He in some way or another, he just behaves in such a way that they do surrender, by various means. So Sarvabhauma is very humbly submitting this statement. Lord Chaitanya, the son of Sachi, is dancing beautifully along with his devotees in Nilachal, the topmost abode in the three worlds. By the sweet syllables of the pleasing to hear Sankirtan, he enchants everyone's mind. It's so enchanting. Sound, transcendental sound, we can hardly imagine how attractive when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be performing Sankirtan, either himself singing or his close associates, his eternal associates singing, the Ghosh brothers, Mukunda Ghosh, Govinda Ghosh, Swarup Damodar, and so many others, Srivas Thakur, who were literally speaking. Their singing was simply vocal, transcendental vocal nectar. just showering that mercy on everyone. And similarly, when the devotees go for Sankirtan, if we're absorbed, the more we may not be able to be, we can't be absorbed in the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. We can be absorbed in the mood of trying to hear the sound of the holy name. Understanding the name is non-different than Krishna. And being an instrument for Krishna to give his association to all the conditioned souls when we chant the holy name. As of course, we are conditioned souls also. So the more we try to hear that sound of the name, Krishna is Pavitram. He's a supreme purifier. And as the sound penetrates to some degree, at least, even the trees and the stones and the birds and the insects, they're completely oblivious. Unknowingly, they get some spiritual mercy from the sound entering into their very low consciousness, but something is there. What to speak of human beings? They may like or not like. Maybe they're very much absorbed in illusion. But this is perhaps the beginning for them, like Yata Sakriti, that they're getting this opportunity to hear the name or see a devotee. Maybe even more, they may take a book or they may inquire or take prasadam. There's a great fortune, this universal welfare activity, spreading the Sankirtan movement to every town and village, every living entity, wherever we are, there are living entities. It's not just when we have RT or when we go on the street. Everywhere there are living entities, in our body, outside our body, everywhere. Chanting the holy name will be all beneficial and ultimately pleasing. Initially, they may not because of their condition. The more the devotees are absorbed in focusing on Krishna in his Namarupa form, then the more the effect will be there. It's not just a musical show, which of course can accompany pure chanting, but in itself, musical shows will not have the same effect. Krishna will not reveal himself. He reveals himself according to how we surrender. As they surrender unto me. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made that surrender very easy. Just come and sing and dance. What's the problem? Got a broken leg. Okay. Tired. Okay. But whenever you can, sing and dance. Seeing Lord Jagannath. Of course, this is one of Lord Chaitanya's moods. As the mood of Radharani and Jagannath is Krishna. So the Rath Yatra festival is really the fulfillment of Radharani's desire of bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. So Lord Chaitanya was in ecstasy. This is a beautiful painting. It's just so sweet and so sweet. Seeing Lord Jagannath and desiring to embrace him, Lord Gauranga, whose complexion is like molten gold, fell to the ground unconscious, stunned in ecstasy, and his eyes staring. He was like stunned, like a person sometimes when they're intoxicated or something, they're just stunned. At that time, tears of love fell from the eyes of Lord Gaurachandra. His voice was choked and his limbs were filled with shivering. In this state, he fell to the ground in ecstatic love. That's a painting of Sarvabhauma presenting the pandits who are coming to give him the sauce. It's very, I don't know, as I say, I struggle to get these paintings. It's very dark for some reason. They've got sticks in their hands. They're coming to wake him up, to beat Lord Chaitanya with sticks. Hey, get out of here, you imitator. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is preventing them. No, don't do it. Very good fortune to protect the Lord there. Thus he got the mercy. Well, Sarvabhauma is not an ordinary person. He's Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods. He's taking his position in Gaur Lila. Even if you are the most learned person in the universe, still, what is the point of your learning if you don't take shelter of Lord Chaitanya? You don't accept Lord Chaitanya as your life and soul. Is of no value. One who develops firm love for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya after 100 lifetimes attains the lotus feet of Radha Krishna, who enjoy their pastimes in Vrindavan. That's a little, I don't know if that's an editorial mistake, I'm not quite sure. But one would think like that, how fortunate I am, maybe out of humility, he's speaking like this. Normally we understand that just merely coming into the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya one can attain that highest, topmost position. And that's painting, of course, is from the BBT. The Sankirtan movement in this world is akin to the Rasa Leela in the spiritual realm. So devotee always thinks like that. If only after even 1,000,000 lifetimes, how fortunate I am. Just like, who was it, Mukunda? Who was going here and there, listening to varieties of philosophies, partly due to various associations of his family and so on and so forth. And Lord Chaitanya rejected him because he was hearing sometimes Mayavad philosophy here, there, and so on. And Mukunda was rejected from his association. Eventually, by the grace of the devotees, Lord Chaitanya said, because Mukunda said, will I ever be able to see my Lord again? And Lord Chaitanya said, tell him he can see me again after millions of births, 10 million births. And when Mukunda heard that, he was in ecstasy. Oh, my Lord is so merciful. I will again be able to see him after 10 million births. I don't think we would have the same mood if someone told us that. We would tell them to get lost probably, but we certainly would be devastated if it was a fact, But the devotees there, maybe I'll have that good fortune. But Lord Chaitanya, when he sees that mood in his devotee, he immediately delivers them. If we think I'm qualified just because I'm serving this movement, therefore I'm very qualified, then we may have a few lessons to learn yet. It's humility. To develop this actual humility, I have no qualification, no eligibility. This is the mood. The amount of devotion one develops for the lotus feet of Sri Radha, that amount one increases in his devotion for the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Another astonishing painting. It just brings everything in one picture, more or less. Radha and Krishna there, the ocean is there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there, Jagannath temple's there. It's very, don't you want to be there? You just feel like you want to be there as well, So it's a very simple painting. So we can't possibly, without the mercy of Radharani, we can't get Krishna. And without the mercy of the Radharani's associates, we can't get Radharani. They come in the form of various devotees. And without the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how on earth will one develop one's attachment for the service to Radharani? And without Nityananda's mercy, we can't get Lord Chaitanya. And that's another pastime, of course, regarding Raghunath Das Goswami. But the Nityananda's mercy, and how do we get that mercy? We have to serve those devotees who are the dust at the lotus feet of Nityananda. This is the process. She has described it. The way we get that mercy, the way we can take shelter of the dust of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, is by preaching to the Jagais and Madhais. This is how Nityananda showers his mercy. By serving those devotees, those representatives of Nityananda, by giving Krishna consciousness to the Jagais and Madhais of the world, Nityananda showers his mercy on us. This is the secret of getting Chaitanya's mercy. And we can drown in that ocean of devotion. The beauty of his sweetly smiling lotus face is like the golden bird. What a painting. So beautiful. His lips resemble the ripened bimba fruit. Beautiful reddish hue. And his throat is his throat is shaped like a conch shell. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Gaurachandra, whose strong limbs are most beautiful, and who enchants the 3 words. Nam, Rupa, name and form, pastimes, qualities, and so on. So the name comes first, the form will be revealed. But to hear about that form of Lord Chaitanya helps us to become freed of our attraction to the mundane forms of this world. We're all attracted to various kinds of forms, whether it's the body of a living entity or nature around us. Form is something which captivates our consciousness. So the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates is the secret to free us from this trap of material attachment. Most beautiful. Nothing is more beautiful than the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's Radha and Krishna, one man, is person to person, who divide in two for various pastimes, but he's experiencing the most intimate and inner, experience that can be ever experienced, the mood of Srimati Radharani. His body is tall, and he is beautiful and strong. His lotus eyes are like the fully blossomed lotus flower, and the 2 rows of his teeth are like the mukta fruit. You don't see Lord Chaitanya's teeth very often. His decorated ears are like new manjaris, and he is decorated with jeweled ankle bells. Some problem? You're offline?
No.
I worship that Gaur Sundar, whose complexion is like molten gold, and who is the abode of love. Everyone's attracted to gold. Molten gold is very attractive also. It's got some energy, isn't it? It's got some Shakti. Very attractive. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's complexion is like molten gold. Sometimes it's described as like cream, elixir. O friend of the universe, O ocean of love, please give your service and a place at your lotus feet to this person who is bereft of knowledge and full of duplicity. O Lord, your name is Patita Pavan, therefore you must be merciful to me. This state of dependence, humility, we have no other shelter. Not that we're using Lord Chaitanya for our agenda. We just have to be totally dependent on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. That's all. We have no other qualification. Lord Gaurchandra, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, raises his long arms and mercifully requests everyone, O devotees of the Lord, just chant the name of Hari. Speaking these words, he dances in great love and shouts loudly, exclaiming, Ha! Ha! The dress, ha, hara, ha. He then sometimes faints and rolls on the ground, striking his chest with his hands. We should never imitate these transcendental emotions manifested externally by various bodily symptoms when we're on the practicing stage. It would be a great disaster. I offer my respectful obeisances to that Supreme Person who has given the living entities tormented by Kali the holy name of Krishna. That holy name is auspicious to the world, and it destroys all obstacles along with the miseries of lamentation, illusion, and greed. All the 6 enemies of the living entity, lust, greed, anger, envy, illusion, and so on, are destroyed by the loud chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And this is Lord Chaitanya's way with loud Sankirtan. So loud, it's the whole universe would vibrate when Lord would roar the holy name of Krishna. His curling hair is tied with a garland of malika flowers. His broad forehead is beautifully decorated with tilak, and on his earlobes hang jeweled earrings. How fortunate. The devotees are in Mayapur this year. Not so many devotees from outside India. Some are there and some may be able to get there, I don't know, but very few of us are able to visit the Holy Dham in India at this point of time, or circumstances beyond our control. But we can absorb our consciousness. Sometimes they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Sometimes being separated, we think more of the Dham, think more of Panchatattva, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu than when one's actually there. This sometimes happens. We take it for granted, to get over familiar, see it as a place of enjoyment and so on and so forth, and miss the actual. And then when we don't get it, then we start to appreciate the real essence of the Dharma, or the real inconceivable good fortune of coming in front of Panchatattva, for instance. Most fortunate. But we can do in our own home. You can sit online, you can on the computer nowadays. There's online programs, online darshans, online kirtans. You can in your own home convert, make one's own home a temple, and pictures and so on and so forth, and follow the same program. I worship Sri Gaurachandra, whose body is smeared with sandalwood pulp and a guru. His hands are decorated with bangles, and his lotus feet are beautified by the sweet sound of his ankle bells. Oh, what a beautiful body Sri Gaurachandra has. He's wearing saffron cloth, and his complexion is like molten gold. He alone is the giver of all auspiciousness. He is most compassionate, the friend of the poor. Therefore, he alone is worshipable. There's that picture, previous one with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the shore of the great ocean in Puri. And he would many times just literally just enter into the ocean, just living, this is the Jamuna, this is the river Jamuna, and he would just disappear in the ocean, carried away by the embrace of the great ocean there in Puri. The ocean was very happily embracing him. So many stories are there of the Lord going into the ocean. We have to enter into the ocean of devotion and also be embraced, you could say, by the loving hands of the devotees in that great ocean. So we'll be protected. Not that we're in the material ocean, of course, we may drown, but in the ocean of bhakti, we can also drown, but we drown in ecstatic moods of devotion in the association of the devotees. I pray to that ever blissful Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who has given up his form as Krishna and has appeared with a golden complexion in this age of Kali. For Sarvabhauma never had that chance to enter into the intimacy of the pastimes of Mayapur. But he's showing us the way how we can, you could say, whatever our mood may be, come to that point of having proper Sambandha Gyan, proper understanding of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the proper mood, a proper form of Abhideya or practice, so we can realize the actual truth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's giving us his chance, another beautiful painting of the golden form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The hidden avatar, Channa avatar, is not shown because he appears as in the mood of a devotee once in a day of Lord Brahma. That's 8,600 million years or whatever it is. Huge period of time. I take shelter at the feet of Sri Gaurachandra, who has given up his yellow cloth and accepted the saffron cloth of a sannyasi. He is an ocean of mercy and the only shelter of the three worlds. Now, I'm not sure what that picture is doing there. It definitely wasn't meant to be there. But this is a picture of Gadadhar Pandit and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. Gadadhar Pandit would always be reciting Srimad Bhagavatam and different kathas. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of his followers would sit completely enamored, completely focused on the ecstatic revelation from Gadadhar Pandit on the inner meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. When the universe became 3/4 filled with sin, the eternal Lord Sri Krishna appeared at Navadvip as Sri Gaur Sundar. In this Kali Yuga, it said that the four qualities, the four legs of religion are mercy, cleanliness, austerity, and truthfulness. And in this age of Kali, only a little bit of truthfulness is left. The others have pretty much disappeared altogether. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. A very big painting. Lord Chaitanya looks very big there, very big and strong, and he is. He can manifest anything he likes. When Sri Gaur Sundar appeared in this age of Kali, the sinful persons, such as the Chandalas, and other low-born persons all became Vaishnavas. These are some of the Muslim devotees who came to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, maybe the various peasants who met him on his journey, who surrendered to Lord Chaitanya, accepted him as their Supreme Lord. The Vaishnavas have received the mercy of Gaura, seeing the unfortunate condition of the fallen souls who are completely bound in the cycle of birth and death. The Vaishnavas take compassion on them and distribute the holy names of the Lord. We've already discussed this most famous pastime of Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya and how they delivered Jagai and Madai, a beautiful painting. As soon as Lord Gauranga began the auspicious congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord, at that time, the living entities who were tormented by Kali became stunned, hearing the wonderful qualities of the Lord, and they rushed to the site of the Sankirtan Yajna. All the pure and sinful persons, on hearing that congregational chanting, became maddened and danced. This is in Kashi. This is a scene after Lord Chaitanya had delivered Prakashananda Saraswati and his thousands of followers, and the whole town is coming. This ISKCON painting. There are other paintings which may show varieties of individuals. They all look like brahmacharis in this painting, or dedicated full-time grihastas or something. But whatever they were, they all came and chanted and danced in ecstasy, realizing the goal of the Vedaischasarviraham Evaveyo Vedanta Veda Vedavachaham is to know Krishna, and Krishna is known by chanting the holy names. This is the means of knowing. As Lord Chaitanya, when he received initiation from Ishwara Puri, was given this instruction: you're a fool. You cannot understand the Vedanta. You simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is most wonderful that when the son of Sachi, Lord Gaurasundar, appeared at Navadvip, all people, young or old, man and woman, and even the foolish, they all became attached to the holy name of the Lord. It's a beautiful painting of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Sankirtan party, relishing the kirtan. The colors are a little unusual, but the painting has a beautiful mood at least. And here's some of you may recognize some of the characters in this picture here. We have Kadamba Maharaj in the background and Vishnu Jan Harinam Ruchi in the foreground, and this is his traveling Sankirtan party. No. After the appearance of Sri Gaurasundar in Kali Yuga, everyone, even the Chandalas, Yavanas, and fools, they all started to glorify the qualities of the holy name of the Lord. Wherever you go, everybody is eligible to participate in the Sankirtan movement. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. The character of Sri Gaurasundar is indeed wonderful, but even more wonderful is the character of his dear servants. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, along with his dear servants, very affectionately bestow love of God on all. And who could be more merciful than Srila Prabhupada in distributing the holy name everywhere? When he came, he said, I have no knowledge, I have no devotion, I only have implicit faith in the holy name of Krishna. Prabhupada spread this movement through chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Gaurasundar, whose attractive curly hair is bound with a string of jewels, and his beautiful soft forehead is decorated with fragrant sandalwood paste. His ears are decorated with shark-shaped earrings, and his chest is decorated with a flower garland. In order to obtain the dust of the lotus feet of that devotee of Gaurasundar, who always remembers the Lord's attractive, enchanting form, qualities, and pastimes, with his body, mind, and speech, I, along with my friends, son, and relatives, will serve him for 100 lifetimes. The Sarvabhauma is expressing this prayer towards those who are actually the devotees of Lord Gaurasundar. And I will serve those devotees for 100 lifetimes. I am not. I'm a nobody. My only hope is to serve those devotees. Again, 100 lifetimes, Shataka. 100 lifetimes. And that's how a mood of a devotee, they don't feel themselves qualified. I will serve the devotees of the Lord. I have no other qualification other than their mercy. And we had this painting before it's come up again. O Lord, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, my tongue is meant only for glorifying your holy name. My ears are meant for hearing your qualities. My mind is meant for remembering your pastimes. My eyes are meant for seeing your beautiful form, and my head is meant for offering obeisances at your lotus feet. This is very akin to the prayer of Maharaja Ambarish. Savayana Krishna Padara Vindayo. That beautiful prayer of Maharaja Ambarish, how he engaged his mind and his body in the service of Krishna. Everything about his life was for Krishna. That's how a devotee feels. Akshnopalam Tradishagata Sangam. Very nice person, Hari Bhakti Sudadaya. It describes, the perfection of the eyes is to see the Vaishnava, the touch is to touch the Vaishnava, the ears is to hear the Vaishnava. This is their only purpose, because in this world it's very hard to actually get the opportunity to associate with a genuine Vaishnava. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are great Mahatmas. They are the personification of the bliss of Sankirtan, and they are as good as Krishna. They deliver the fallen souls who are burnt by the threefold miseries by giving them love of God. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Panchatattva, sitting, the painting, of course, I don't know, literally speaking, but they're sitting with the most prominent of their followers here in this painting. Sarvabhauma's right in the middle there, practically speaking, with the white hair. If somehow or another the people of a particular country become averse to religious principles and thus devoid of good behavior, if they then take up the performance of Harinam Sankirtan, then that country and those people become glorious. That's a beautiful photograph of devotees in Ukraine at one festival there, where they have maybe 10,000 devotees coming together. And they're all in ecstasy, hands raised in the kirtan. This is Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. To deliver the people who are contrary to the bona fide sampradayas, Sri Krishna Chaitanya appeared in Nadia in this age of Kali. And this is a typical example. Most, at least in India, most religious spiritualists are mostly following Shankara Sampradaya in one way or another. Here's Lord Chaitanya showing intense humility. Although, again, the painting is a little unique. Lord Chaitanya also has a danda in this painting. It's not usually shown at that stage carrying a danda. But anyway, he's there with his danda, as the others are too. A beautiful painting, nonetheless. And there is Kashananda, just the behavior of Lord Chaitanya said to Madhavendra, Puri, about Madhavendra Puri, to that Brahmin in Mathura, that religious principles are established by the behavior of a devotee. And then he said, the behavior of Madhavendra Puri is the perfect, it's absolutely perfect. His behavior is so perfect. But just by seeing the behavior, one becomes affected. Our preaching of this Krishna conscious movement is also very much based upon behavior. It's not just philosophy by any means, it's mostly behavior. So Lord Chaitanya is manifesting deep, intense humility here. He doesn't see himself eligible. Of course, from another point of view, you could say he doesn't want to associate their Mayavadis, but he also is sitting in a way as if he wasn't eligible to sit in their association. So the leader, Kashananda Saraswati, is also affected by that. And in a humble way, he's come over and he's pleased, my dear, Sri Krishna Chaitanya or whatever, please come and join us. Because he thought, he's also initiated in our line. Keshwar Bharati line is also one of the Sankara Sampradaya lines. Purposeful arrangement of the Lord. So he'd be accepted by the Mayavadis as being in their line. And thus they were willing to accept him into their association. And then the Lord was able to convince them and give them Krishna Bhakti. I have heard from the mouth of the pure devotees that the Lord in other incarnations delivers his own devotees. But Sri Gauranga, appearing in Nadia by bestowing the nectar of the holy names, delivered everyone, both devotees and non-devotees, without discrimination. This is the mood of Sankirtan. When we go for Harinam Sankirtan and book distribution, whatever, everyone is given the chance. Everyone. And this is following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. Whether they take it or not, that's another thing. But everyone's given the chance. The bestower of love, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, being maddened by ecstatic love, shouts loudly. He destroys the misconceptions of the people and thereby attracts their minds to Krishna. Those fools bereft of receiving the mercy of such a compassionate Lord are the sinful, the drunkards, those suffering material miseries, and those who are averse to the Lord and his representative. In this way, they are cheated in all respects. So you may know what this scene is. This is Ramchandra Puri. He's pointing ants on the floor. Just see, this is proof that last night you were eating sweets and you call yourself a sannyasi. Lord Chaitanya is very humble because Ramchandra Puri is the godbrother of his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri. So even though he was criticized, he still respected him, took it seriously. But Ramchandra Puri was an offender. He defended his own guru, Madhavendra Puri, and thus ultimately fell away from devotional service. Became inclined by Vaishnava practices. Offenses to the Vaishnavas, offenses to the Lord. Definitely one will fall away from Krishna consciousness. Unless one atones by taking shelter of those devotees. But Ramchandra Puri was, okay, we can say he's playing a role. He's definitely playing a role, having had all that association, etc., that he be behaving like a demon, practically speaking. But nonetheless, he's another lesson being taught by Lord Chaitanya through Ishwara Puri and Ramchandra Puri of relationship with Vaishnavas, relationship with the Guru. Critical and pointing out faults is one thing which needs to be done. Praising is another thing. But one has to be very careful. Ramchandra Puri, of the two, the other side is more prominent, encouraging, so seeing the good, etc. Ishwara Puri was on that side, and Ramchandra Puri is said to be manifestation of fault finding, which is, praising may also, both things may have their pros and cons. But in the case of Ramchandra Puri, that was his business to find fault. So that's not our business. It's only if it helps somebody to actually progress and if it's done with love, without envy, etc. After the appearance in Navadvip of Sri Gauranga, who is the most beautiful in the three worlds, all the people of this world, including the fallen, the lowest of men, the Yavanas and the fools, all became happy and maddened by the performance of Sankirtan. So here's the Chandkazi being delivered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and after that he joined the Sankirtan movement. He also became a Sankirtan devotee. The conversion, Lord Chaitanya would convert countless living entities to the holy name, and then they would also go and convert others also. The characteristic of the Vaishnavas, who are staunch devotees of Lord Gaurasundar, are very sweet. Those devotees are not offended by the faults of the low and contaminated living entities who are smeared with the mud of sin. The reason is that Sri Gaurachandra, the ocean of mercy, appeared at Navadvip to give the nectar of the holy names, the essence of the Vedas. Srila Prabhupada, this is the installation of Radha Gokulananda at Bhaktivedanta Manor in London. Prabhupada was dancing in ecstasy. They're right in front of the altar. You can see that Prabhupada wasn't so overly emphatic about certain details in this regards. Most of the devotees were wearing kurtas, Some may have socks, and so on and so forth. Prabhupada himself offered arti with his kirtan. Sri Gaurachandra, by his own sweet will, delivered the living entities tormented by Kali and drowning in the ocean of the material world, which is filled with formidable waves. Lord Gauranga gave those living entities the nectar of the holy names, and he clearly explained the glories of the name and the Vaishnavas. According to time and circumstance, we don't necessarily do that. People may be faithless, but when their faith develops, then we do. Otherwise, just get people to chant. There's Prabhupada in San Francisco getting everyone to chant Hare Krishna. According to the order of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, his followers are delivering the living entities tormented by Kali by distributing the nectar of the holy names to each and every house, every town and village. And that's in America, one of the roadshow programs. It's Vishnu Jan and Tamal Krishna Maharaj. They're not necessarily roadshow, but they're doing some preaching program in some park by the looks of it, and it's ecstatic. This is the movement. This is the Krishna consciousness movement. People's only hope is this really, otherwise they get absorbed in all kinds of illusory solutions, which, as Prahlad Maharaj said, are cause more trouble than the problem they're trying to solve. Sri Gauranga is the friend and master of the universe. He inaugurated the Sankirtan movement, Sankirtan Yajna, and service of the Lord throughout the land of Bharat. And of course, the followers of Lord Chaitanya, more Senapati Bhakta, have taken that all over the world. Srila Prabhupada has brought it all over the world. We're only going to get up to number 50, I'm afraid. 51 maybe. Ever since Sri Gauranga, the personification of love, began distributing Krishna Prema, all the ungrateful, the drunkards and sinful, and the suffering, they all gave up their desire for sense gratification and sinful activities as poison, and drowned themselves in the ocean of happiness of the loud congregational chanting of the holy names. And this is a fact, that millions of people who've taken up the chanting of the Maha Mantra are, as Janananda said, spit at the thought of sense gratification. They don't spit at others, they spit at the thought of sense gratification. It's an internal thing. It becomes detestable. Anything which is not pleasing to the Lord Chaitanya. Those most sinful persons who had no alternative for deliverance in other yugas are now absorbed in the ocean of happiness by the mercy of the holy names, which were introduced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Harinam Sankirtan in San Francisco, early days. Jai. All the most sinful persons are being delivered by the mercy of the holy name of the Lord, which has come from the mouth of Sri Gaurasundar. Lord Gaurasundar is himself the Lord of all, the controller of the universe and the instructor of all. Just see how enthusiastic that devotee has only one leg. He only has one leg. He's hopping on his one leg. Somewhere in Africa. So if he can go out and hop on one leg, surely we can do something with two. And last one. Sri Gaurasundar is the friend of the universe. He is most compassionate, the giver of the holy name. His bright, attractive golden form is filled with supreme sweetness. His smile is enchanting, and the glance of his lotus eyes is very cooling. The words from his mouth are full of love and like nectar. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best amongst the dancers, please manifest in my heart. Hare Krishna, it's hard to finish because there are still another 49 slides to go on various pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the gradual thread glorifying Lord Chaitanya's form, glorifying his Sankirtan movement, the mood of humility by which we can genuinely glorify the holy name, glorify his form, and then taking shelter of that form and taking shelter of those lotus feet and prayers of submission and humility. Sarvabhauma taking us through these various stages of surrender. And in just a few moments, he compiled these 100 verses on the spot. So it's nice to hear them and nice to have the meditation that goes beyond or behind them, so to speak. And that's really is a beautiful painting. It's one of my favorites of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. I mean, they know, on the banks of the Yamuna, whatever it is. It's the ocean or the Yamuna, it's the Yamuna. It's so beautiful. Hare Krishna. Okay, well, I'm going to stop there because our time is running fast and we won't have time to finish, I'm afraid. What to do? I'd love to finish the whole thing, but it would take another 45 minutes. And it's already 11:30 plus, 10:30 plus here. I don't know about where you are. Maybe I can finish it another day. What do you think? What do you think? Let's see. I tell you, it was a real meditation. I must have spent about 24 hours working on that. I don't know, long time anyway, two or three nights running. Hare Krishna, keep going, says Tom. Yeah, we all got to keep going. I don't know, is there Harinam Sankirtan today?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I don't.
They didn't decide it yet. But...
Didn't decide it yet. They've only got another half an hour to decide or leave it.
No, the night before. No solo channel in the kitchen. So.
We're kind of in partial lockdown here. Paris is in lockdown. And we're in lockdown here because 4 or 5 devotees here at New Mayapur were tested positive with COVID. So we have to be careful what we do. You know, I'm okay. I'm always negative. I was even negative with COVID. Can you believe it? Shoot. I thought at least one thing I'll be positive about, you know. Even that I wasn't positive with. What to do? And so we're just being careful. There's no one sick, you know. Nobody even knew they had it practically except for one person. It started because one girl had to go to get her test for going to England. She wasn't even sick, but she was tested positive. And then others went like that. So we're just taking precautions here, keeping a kind of a tight program. So we're not having much of a big festival tomorrow. I mean, we'll have an in-house festival, I guess. So I'm not sure if they're going on Street Sankirtan today or not. We normally go after this program because I don't know what the time is. It 6 o'clock? We have to, 6 o'clock at night. You have to be off the street. You have to be off the street. You have to be home by 6 o'clock. So we leave early and come back early normally. But I don't know if they're going today. Well, someone said, yeah, keep going. Please keep going. You want me to keep going or not? We have to. After the others are going to leave if I keep going, and then they won't see it all. Okay, well I will keep going then, if I can. Square sheen. Can you see it, Rasika? Oh, what happened?
Yeah, yes, Maharaj.
Can you see it or not?
Yeah.
Oh dear. You have to excuse me. I'm really having a problem here keeping the screen steady. We jumped a few slides there. There we go, 53. Oh, what a slide. Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Wow. Just look at that picture. All you have to do is look at the pictures and it'll change your heart. Even if you can't hear anything, don't like what I'm saying, just look at the pictures. The characteristics of Sri Gaurasundar are most sweet. He simply teaches the holy names. Within the 3 worlds, it is well known that he is the only giver of love. His transcendental body is filled with shivering, and he attracts the minds of all. May that Lord Gaurchandra, who is the best amongst the dancers, please manifest in my heart. Wow. Now we go on to dancing. Here, now he talks the glories of dancing. It's a very important part of Lord Chaitanya's movement. Singing, dancing, and playing musical instruments. This is the 3 main ingredients of the Sankirtan movement, we could say. character of the Sankirtan movement. So dancing, Lord Chaitanya's dancing would attract the whole universe. And so don't just stand there like a stone. If you can dance, dance. Prabhupada said when he came to New York, I am a puppet in your hands. Do as you wish with me. If you want me to dance, then make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you wish. That's the Sankirtan beauty. Sri Gaurasundar is the essence of all Vedic literatures. He is complete in himself, and he is the source of all other incarnations. He has destroyed the sins of the living entities tormented by Kali by giving them prema bhakti. It's very similar. As I said, there's a lot of very similar statements here. But here it says, by giving them prema bhakti. Lord Chaitanya in the Chaitanya Chapter we describe that Lord Chaitanya has come for two purposes. To taste the sweet nectar of prema bhakti and the performance of congregational chanting, through the performance of congregational chanting of the holy names. Thus, along with his associates, the Lord performs Sankirtan and delivers even the untouchable. Everyone's delivered by Sankirtan. He gives prema bhakti to everyone. Thus, it said, the Lord has woven a wreath, that means like a big kind of garland, something at the cemetery you usually put around a gravestone or something. He has woven a wreath of the holy name and prema bhakti by which he has garlanded the entire material world. There's Sankirtan movement going on all over the world. Gaura Purnima will be going on in millions, maybe not millions, thousands and thousands of homes and temples tomorrow or the day after or today or whenever it is. All over the world, every moment of the day, Gaura Purnima will be going on. Abhishek, Kirtans, and Katha, Prashadam, etc., etc. Don't forget fasting until moonrise, whatever that is. It's very early in some places, but usually it's the evening after Gaura Arti. That's the usual time. So this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, he's the best among dancers. He's dancing just. It's said that when we dance, and Hari Bhakti Sudadai also, I think it's also there, one of the Puranas, it describes that when the devotees dance, by their dancing on the ground, all the living entities in the lower planetary system benefit. By their glancing around as they're doing Sankirtan, all the living entities on the earthly planetary systems are benefited by the chanting, of course. And when they raise their hands in the air, all the living entities in the heavens are benefited. This is Sankirtan, for all universal benefit. Within the three worlds, Sri Gaurasundar is incomparable and without a second. He is the knower of transcendental rasa. Everyone is bewildered seeing his sweet, effulgent form. This is something we can become bewildered by. We become bewildered by the forms of this world. This form we can become bewildered by. He's the knower of transcendental rasa. He is famous, the abode of all transcendental qualities, and his nature is of the deepest, uncontaminated goodness. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best amongst the dancers, please manifest in my heart. The manifest of the Lord in the heart will give us that, they say, enthusiasm, that strength to chant and perform Sankirtan. Tears of love constantly flow from Sri Gaurachandra's eyes, which reach to his ears. His bodily limbs are filled with perspiration and shivering in ecstatic love. The extraordinary beauty of his form agitates the minds of hundreds of cupids. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best among the dancers, please manifest in my heart. Sri Gaurachandra is bestowing without discrimination the nectar of the holy name of Krishna. That nectar destroys the enemies of the living entities tormented by Kali. Therefore, Sri Gaurachandra is known as Petit Pavan, the protector of the poor and fallen, and the ultimate limit of mercy. His beautiful form reminds the seer of the mystery of Vrindavan, and thus the seer feels happiness due to love of God. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best among the dancers, please manifest in my heart. Sri Gaurachandra is the jeweled ornament on the head of all knowers of transcendental mellows, and he is the essence of all rasa. He is always maddened by the name of Krishna. His unlimited qualities are like a deep ocean, and he is very sober and grave. He is most eager to deliver the fallen souls. There is no comparison to his beautiful form. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best amongst the dancers, please manifest in my heart. He's certainly more keen to deliver us than we are to be delivered, that's for sure. The moonlight words of Sri Gaurachandra are soothing like the lotus. His lips resemble the ripened bimba fruit. His beautiful nose resembles the sesame flower. His throat resembles the conch shell. His long arms are strong, and his navel is deep. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best amongst the dancers, please manifest in my heart. The color of Sri Gaurachandra's body is like molten gold. His limbs are the essence of all loveliness. He is the destroyer of the contamination of Kali Yuga. This is his supreme glory. He gives love of God without discrimination to the people of the world. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best among the dancers, please manifest in my heart. And dancing is not just a show. It may be out of exuberance or happiness that we dance, but ultimately dancing is according to the heartbeat of the Lord, exactly according to his mood. It's not the devotees. It's like a devotee, as Prabhupada says, like a puppet in Krishna's hands, dancing for Krishna's pleasure. You know, sometimes a rich man entertained, or a king is entertained by dancers. They have to dance according to the will of the king or the rich man. They don't do their own thing. So similarly, the pure devotees, when they dance, they're dancing exactly according to the beat of the Lord's heart. You could say, or the will of the Lord, we put it in simple terms. Sri Gaurachandra's splendid hair is tied by a multi-jeweled string. His beautiful forehead is decorated with sandalwood tilak. His curly hair swings down his neck. His ears are decorated with shark-shaped earrings, and his broad chest is decorated with a golden necklace. May that Lord Gaurachandra, who is the best amongst the dancers, please manifest in my heart. Since the appearance of the holy name of the Lord in this world, all the people have become Vaishnavas. They have become pure by wearing a garland of the holy name and the mark of tilak. O Lord, Hari, in this Kali Yuga, let this continue in this way. That's a famous picture. I didn't have time to get a better copy of it, but this is in one park, in maybe Hyde Park or St. James's Park in London, and it's the early days, maybe 69 or 70. This would be 1970. Tamal Krishna Maharaj is there, of the devotees in the park. Jamuna is there, Shamsundar is there. So many devotees are there, and you don't know most of them. Lila Sakti, I think, is there. There's Dhananjaya and Jayahari, and different devotees from London are there on Harinam in the park. And this is the spirit of our movement, so blissful. Excuse me. Dear. Sri Gaurachandra is fully manifesting his mercy on the fallen souls out of compassion by always praying to Krishna. O Krishna, O ocean of mercy, please protect the living entities who are burnt in the forest fire of the material world. Kindly give them the own wealth of prema bhakti. No one but Sri Satchidananda, who is the deliverer of the fallen and only shelter of the poor, is able to pray in such a way. Praise the Lord, because he has prema bhakti. If we don't have prema bhakti, how can we give? If we don't have love of God, how can we give it? We can pass it on. That's why we distribute Prabhupada's books, because what does Prabhupada say? What we were speaking to, maybe something. But the book is just a condensed version of, condensed, it's quite extensive, but it's simply full of pure devotional service. the written form of love of God, the literary form of Prema Bhakti. We give people the book, they have the chance to associate with the Prema Bhakti, Bhakta, and they can receive Prema Bhakti. Seeing morose, frightened living entities, tormented by Kali and contaminated by sin, Sachinanda Gaura Hari has given them the holy name of Sri Hari. He has given his devotees the practice of chanting the holy names while dancing and playing instruments. I think the devotee there needs no introduction. This is Indra Prabhu, who is one of the limbs of the Sankirtan movement in this day and age, spreading the pure name everywhere. Well, he was just in Vrindavan for the last 25 years or so, but his chanting goes all over the world, spreading the pure name. Sri Gaura Sundar is instructing his beloved devotees in each and every house install and worship the deity of Krishna, whose threefold bending form is most enchanting. Beautiful little home deities there of Radha and Krishna. Most enchanting. Oh, this is another desire that in every household should have deities. Prabhupada has made this clear. Of course, it should be done with proper guidance and proper permission, etc., not whimsically. Prabhupada wanted, well, there's one letter where Prabhupada wrote, I can't remember who it was to, but he said, I want to make many, many rubber, who made of rubber, Radha and Krishna deities to be distributed widely all over the world. And he had the same idea with Gaura Nitai, that we should distribute to the public. But Prabhupada was, we could say, quite revolutionary in this regards. Whatever helped to spread Krishna consciousness. But certainly everybody needs to have this altar, and at some point of time, when the right time comes, deities and develop this relationship with Radha, Krishna, Gaura Nitai, Sitaram, whatever it is, in their own Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. The beautiful eyes of Sri Gaurachandra are just like red lotuses. His lips are very pleasing to the mind. His nostrils are like the mines of sweetness. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Gaurasundar. That is such a beautiful painting of the Lord's face. It fits this description, his beautiful lotus eyes, his beautiful long ears, his eyelashes, his tilak, his beautiful lips, the beautiful shape of his neck and forehead. Everything is so beautiful. The beauty of the lotus face of Sri Gaurasundar. Now we're going on to the lotus face. How Sri Gaurasundar surpasses the beauty of millions of cupids, is more bright than that of millions of moons, and is more attractive than millions of red kanchana flowers. I offer my respectful obeisances unto that Sri Gaurasundar. The beauty of the teeth of Sri Gaurachandra is like that of a garland of pearls, and his teeth are the source of beauty. Oh, his smile. I can't visualize the teeth of the Lord. I can't remember seeing his teeth. I'm sure there must be a painting somewhere. His face is like the face of a lion, and his throat is charming and attractive. I offer my respectful obeisances unto that Sri Gaurasundar. On the broad chest, what a beautiful painting. This was painted by one of our devotees here in France, the daughter of Mother Vishesha Radhe. She's one of her paintings. On the broad chest of Sri Gaurachandra swings a garland of malika flowers, and his ears are decorated with mukta fruit. His arms are decorated with golden ornaments. I offer my respectful obeisances unto that Sri Gaurasundar. The beautiful thin waist of Sri Gaurachandra is like that of a lion. His thighs resemble the trunks of banana trees. His feet resemble the shell of a tortoise. I offer my respectful obeisances unto that Sri Gaurasundar. We may not be able to appreciate these things sometimes as much as those who are the poets or the devotees who are expressing these, seeing things in a very incredible way, the beauty of the various aspects of nature, etc., manifesting perfection in the form of Lord Chaitanya. O Lord Gaurasundar, please give me shelter at your lotus feet, the toes of which resemble the buds of the champaka flower. O merciful Lord, please have mercy on me. I offer my repeated obeisances at your lotus feet. That's Vishnu Priya holding Lord's shoes to her chest, because she's always got the shelter. He's eternally situated at, she's the Lord's eternal consort, spiritual realm. She's never separated, but she's in this mood of separation. O Lord Goswami, the moonlight nails of your feet defeat the luster of jewels. I take full shelter of your lotus feet. I offer millions of obeisances at your lotus feet. Again, this is the mood of just always taking shelter. It's not that we just go up and down all day long. That's our service, offering obeisances. It's in the heart, constantly taking shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya in everything we do. O Lord Goswami, I surrender unto your lotus feet, which are marked with the flag and thunderbolt. Now I no longer fear my enemies. I offer my repeated obeisances at your lotus feet. Prabhupada was Abhay Charanavinda, one who is fearless at the lotus feet. This is the only safe protection from this ocean. Samashrita ye padapalava plavam mahatpadam punya yashomare. Bhavambarya vatsa paramparam padam yad paramparam yad vibidam natesham. Only those who take in shelter of the lotus feet of Maharaja, the name of Krishna, can be protected from this dangerous ocean of material existence. Taking shelter of those lotus feet. Lord Goswami, you are the deliverer of hundreds of fallen souls. I do not know by what offense I am bereft of your mercy. O friend of the poor, I am very afraid of the contamination of Kali Yuga. Please protect me. What more can I say? You are the only Lord and shelter of the surrendered souls. Amazing, even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he took sannyas, he was traveling with Janananda in the Radhadesh district. He was chanting, Krishna, 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 Rakshamam, Krishna, 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 Pahimam, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Oh my Lord, Krishna, please protect me. Oh my Lord Ram, please protect me. He was praying for protection. Now he's the source of all protection. But he was praying like this, please protect me. Not that we can protect ourselves, we have to take shelter of, humbly take shelter of Mahaprabhu. What wonderful character does the son of Sachi, Lord Gauranga, have? By instructing people about the holy name of Hari, Lord Gauranga is inducing them to be attached to Hari. Now all these people are dancing in Sankirtan with ecstatic love of God. They cry in ecstasy and explain the glories of Lord Hari to others. Is this Prague?
Yes.
This picture I have next to me, Mayapur Chandra Prabhu from Czech Republic. I just thought this picture was from Prague, and he's just confirmed it. It's a picture from Prague, in the square in Prague, of hundreds and hundreds of devotees and guests and people in general dancing in circles all over the square. Very nice example of how Lord Chaitanya's movement spreads. After the appearance of the son of Sachi, Lord Gauranga in this world, all the people began to always discuss the topics of Krishna amongst themselves in order to destroy the sins of the living entities tormented by Kali. They vibrate the holy names of Hari, which give devotion to the Lord, and in ecstatic love, they discuss in various ways. Just by the devotees discussing Krishna Katha, the whole world is benefited. Just by the performance of Sankirtan, even without going anywhere, there is benefit for everyone. It's so, Lord Chaitanya, of course, with his eternal associates, but the principle is the same. Wherever we go, Katha, Krishna Katha, Gaura Katha. There we go. This is what it's all coming to, and this is the practice which we all have to now take up. Everything else we've spoken up now to is leading up to this essence, perfection of yoga. Some people have perfected their lives and attained a desired goal in previous yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dwapara, by performing austerities, meditation, or sacrifice. And there's Vishvamitra. We can also follow Vishvamitra. We can be number 3. That's Vishvamitra number 2. Yes, why don't we do now? We can go up into the mountains of Southern Island, in Southern Island, in New Zealand, or up into the mountains in Australia, or America, or Europe, or India, or wherever we are. Up in Fiji, up in the mountains with Kalia, and meditate up there. Yes, I'm standing on one leg. But that's not what he says. But in Kali Yuga, people attain the association of Krishna simply by the merciful glance of Sri Gaura Sundar and by chanting the holy names. Another beautiful painting. Look at those drums. Imagine having, they're almost as tall as the person playing them. Imagine having a drum like that. Wow. Incredible. Sri Krishna Chaitanya has offered everyone in the universe the garland of the holy names of Krishna, and thereby taking away their sins. You know, again and again, repeating, it's like something very hard on his heart. Amazing painting. I mean, the devotees, they all look very unique. That's all I could say. Those who know the identity of Lord Chaitanya chant the holy name of Hari and serve the Vaishnavas who are dear to Sri Krishna Chaitanya. They alone attain the lotus feet of Hari. Now I see that somehow or another I got the 2 pictures, I got muddled up here. Maybe we'll readjust it later. Those who in this age of Kali hear the topics of Sri Guru Tattva, chant the holy name of Hari with great attention, and worship the Gurus, Sadhus, and Devatas, know for certain that they alone are the devotees of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I'm going to read that again. Those who in this age of Kali hear the topics of Sri Guru Tattva, chant the holy names of Hari with great attention, and worship the Guru, Sadhus, and Devatas, know for certain that they alone are the devotees of Sri Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. It says here, Devatas, the devotees worship the Devatas in different ways, just like our Gaura Arti, when we sing the Gaura Arti, or we read Brahma Samhita, or we worship the deities Ishtadev, just like Ganesh's Ishtadev is Nrsimhadev. Lord Shiva's is Lord Ram. We worship their Ishtadevs. And not only that, but we act in such a way as to satisfy them, because their greatest happiness is the Sankirtan Yagya. It automatically satisfies all the demigods, all the devatas, by the one act of Sankirtan Yagya. Is Prabhupada in Vrindavan, Radha Damodar temple, when it was a little bit more, we could say, in that, what can I say, it's changed, it's not beyond our control, a little bit more in that mood, feeling like you're in Vrindavan. It was so simple and so nice. 1972 in Vrindavan. True Vaishnavas. Sri Krishna Chaitanya has preached and manifested the holy name of Hari, which is auspicious for the whole world, and which is being made easily available to anyone and everyone. Whoever receives the holy name is certainly glorious, and he becomes qualified to deliver others. This picture is in Tompkins Square Park in 1966. Prabhupada looks alone in the picture. A person may have respect for the Vaishnavas and always engages in Sankirtan. Still, if he is against Sri Krishna Chaitanya, he is actually not a devotee of the Lord. Yes. We may dress like one, we may claim to be one, we may be acting as if we are one, but unless and until that we're actually surrendered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we cannot really be a devotee of Krishna. Even if a person serves and worships with undiverted mind the lotus feet of Sri Hari, and that person is fixed in his occupation or duty, but if he is averse to Sri Gaura Sundar, then he can become neither glorious nor knower of the truth. The mercy form of Lord Shri Radha Krishna. If we don't take shelter of the Lord in this form, we get the mercy of Lord Krishna. Why should those persons want to attain love of God who do not know or do not want to know Sri Gaura, who is the source of all incarnations mentioned in the Vedic literature? Such persons have certainly already been deceived. O Lord Hari, how can such things take place? For what use did people with such a mentality take birth? Those persons are eligible to fall into the hell known as Kumbhipaka. Oh, there it is. Somewhere else. Yes, eligible, but by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Lord Chaitanya is all merciful. The Vaishnavas can be even more merciful. It's incredible how the mercy of Lord Chaitanya manifests in the form of the devotees, even more merciful. I am eagerly seeking shelter at the reddish lotus feet of the son of Sachi, Sri Gaura. O Vaishnavas, O lords of my family, please have mercy on this poor suffering soul and make me eligible to attain my desired goal, and my mind will be fixed without disturbance on the feet of Sri Gaura. The greatest benediction that will help one to have one's mind fixed on the lotus feet of Sri Gaura. I don't want wealth or followers, fame or beauty in a good family, austerity, material happiness, auspiciousness, children, or any other so-called benedictions. O Lord Gaura Hari, please give me the benediction that I may surrender at your lotus feet and worship you life after life. O Lord Gaura Hari, I'm afflicted by the miseries of the world and have lost my memory. O merciful Lord, please protect me from the fear of material existence. He appeals to the Lord for protection. I have attained this rare human form of life after many lifetimes in many universes. O Lord, out of anxiety, I am taking shelter of your lotus feet. Please protect me. O son of Sachi, I am low and fallen, and thus I am suffering. My situation is critical. Please be merciful and protect me. Everyone in this world has become absorbed in love for you, O Lord. Please do not neglect me. There are several incidences with this mood of feeling neglect. Please do not neglect me. Everyone else is eligible. So this is a picture of Vasudev. Vasudev Vipra was a leper. He was suffering intensely from leprosy, but he was also a great devotee of the Lord. So here's the Lord delivering him from his leprosy. But that's not the real meaning behind this. The real meaning behind this is Vasudev Vipra, once his body became transformed into a beautiful form, he was very concerned when he fell at the Lord's feet. Please protect me, my Lord. Please protect me that I do not become proud, that people may speak about me, I may become famous, whatever. Please protect me. So the Lord assured him that if he constantly chanted the holy name of Krishna and served the Vaishnavas, that he would be protected from the most dangerous enemy in the form of pride. That's the real protection. O Lord, other demigods are able to deliver sinful people, but you, O Gaura, might only deliver because you are the deliverer of the fallen. They maybe deliver the sinful people from karma, but the demigods cannot take them or deliver them to the point of love of Godhead. Of course, if they're pure devotees of the Lord, that's something, but in the role of demigods. So this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Sarvabhauma, he is one of the demigods, he's Brihaspati, but he's considering himself completely helpless, hopeless, most fallen of all, because he's teaching people this, this cheating, if you want to call it that, this diverted philosophy of monism, etc. So the most fallen thing you can do, in a sense, is to teach monism, because it's the thing which will, more than anything else, will distance people from loving devotional service, even more so than gross material life, practically speaking, because it covers the inner consciousness of the living entity convinces the living entity that God has no form, that there is no activities, no pastimes. These are all manifestations of the material nature, that the Absolute has no form, has no pastimes, there's no activities, there's no name, etc., etc. Formless. So this is the greatest, you can say, say cruelty is not the word, disservice maybe the one can do for a conditioned soul, just to guide them on this path of monism. At the reddish lotus, the reddish lotus feet of the son of Sachi, Sri Gaura Hari, my only repeated prayer is, at the reddish lotus feet of the son of Sachi, Sri Gaura Hari, my only repeated prayer is, in life or death, may I always remember your beautiful form. O Krishna, you have accepted a blackish form in Dwapara Yuga, but in Kali Yuga, you have accepted a golden form. You are teaching the people of the world loving devotional service to Krishna by manifesting your sweet pastimes. And this could be Rupa or Sanatana. I think it's Sanatana. It looks like Kashi. Lord Chaitanya taught Sanatana Goswami in Varanasi for many, many, many months. In fact, a long time, whatever, long period of time in the science of devotional service and all the various pastimes. We can read them in the Nectar of Devotional, so they're summarized by Rupa Goswami and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are many chapters of Lord Chaitanya's teachings to Sanatana Goswami. Whatever has been manifest in my mind, I'm offering at your lotus feet with my body, mind, and words. O merciful Lord, please help me perfect my life in every way so that I can constantly remember your lotus feet. O Lord, you are the independent controller. You've accepted a form full of transcendental loving pastimes, and you are delivering the people of this world by giving them the holy name of Sri Hari. That's Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu in Nadia in Navadvip. Beautiful picture. O friend of the forlorn, that deity of Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu was the deity worshipped by Vishnu Priya throughout her life after Lord Chaitanya left him. The Lord gave her this form of himself, and she worshipped the day she left her body. As you know, she only took, every day she would constantly chant, worship her, the deity of her Lord, and chant the holy names. Every time she finished her round, she would put one grain of rice aside, and that's what she would eat. O friend of the forlorn, O ocean of mercy, please liberate me from the shackles of this material world without delay. Let me chant your spotless pure name and visit the holy places so that I may meet the saintly persons who are as good as the demigods. That, again, came up earlier, I think, that picture of Lord Chaitanya with his associates. O Lord Goswami, please excuse whatever I have previously heard, said, thought, or done. Please give me the benediction I can always remember your lotus feet. This is my heart's desire. O Lord Goswami, giving up all shame, I am humbly praying at your lotus feet. Please give me loving devotional service and always keep me at your reddish lotus feet. This is again Sarvabhauma in the house. The Lord is manifesting a sixfold form here, six-armed form. I'm coming to the end now. O Lord Goswami, I've been drowning in this ocean of material existence for many lifetimes. Kindly deliver me. My only prayer is that I might always be engaged in chanting the holy name, serving your lotus feet. This is the conclusion of the prayers of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Many lifetimes drowning, kindly deliver me. My only prayer is that I might always be engaged in chanting the holy name, serving your lotus feet. Prabhupada said the same thing in one letter to Devananda Prabhu. Our only prayer should be, my dear Lord, you are sitting in my heart as a super soul. Please Always remind me to chant your holy names and never stop and never forget the chanting of the holy name. Even if you send me to heaven or hell, it doesn't matter, but please always remind me to chant your holy names. Janananda Pinam Gauranga Tvam Nividyaye Kripam Puradayana Sarvasevam Karomya. O Lord Gauranga, you are non-different from Janananda. O ocean of mercy, I offer this prayer at your lotus feet. Please make me qualified to serve you in all respects. And final one. Giyate airatitvena chaitanya shatakam muda vatyate shuyate taistu raptashat shri sachishutaha. Whoever regularly reads or hears this Sri Chaitanya Shataka with devotion and attachment will certainly attain the son of Sachi, Lord Gauranga, and he will find engagement in the service of his lotus feet. And that picture is said to be the only original painting of Lord Chaitanya, portrait, whether it was or not, but it's said to be an actual portrait. It's a beautiful painting anyway, whatever it is. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Haribo! Hare Krishna. Well, I'm sorry we went on rather long today. I said we go 45 minutes over, and that we have done. And really, there's no time for anything. We just have to finish there today. And we hope that you have an ecstatic Gaur Purnima festival. We'll be, I don't know, there will be, I guess it will be recorded tomorrow here at New Mayapur. I'm supposed to give class tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock French time. I don't know if it's live, but they may record it. So we hope and pray that you will all wish now to take more and more shelter of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees, not just on Gaur Purnima, but every day of the year, and develop this. Whatever we are, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He's not in the mood of conjugal love. But that's the point is, neither are we at this point of time, and neither are we in any mood except for we're in a mood, some kind of mood. But the principle is the same for all devotees, no matter what their ultimate level of consciousness is, their ultimate position is. It's the same thing: humility, submission, dependence, the mood of surrender. One cannot jump over Sharanagati. Surrender unto me, Krishna says. Give up all other things. I will protect you. I will deliver you. That's the end of Gita. And if we don't come to that point, there's no question of understanding Bhagavatam, what to speak of the actual position of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Charan, etc. Surrender is the secret. And Advaita and Sarvabhauma was the last person to surrender when Lord Chaitanya Lord Chaitanya went to Puri particularly to deliver Sarvabhauma, knowing if he delivered him, then that's it, basically. All the other scholars, everyone, what can they say? Sarvabhauma was the leader. So a very special interaction between the two. He's a philosopher, he's a scholar, but the principle is the same: surrender. He surrendered. So whoever we are, what we think we are, without surrender, what is the use of it all? It has no meaning. We may be very good at what we're doing, but unless we actually surrender like a puppet at the Lord's lotus feet, well, what is the use? There's maybe some pious activities and good fortune there, no doubt. But real devotion is the degree of our surrender, to the degree that we surrender. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, we'd like to thank you all. And there's still a few diehards out there still with us this morning. We'll have a quick kirtan, and you can stay or go. Do as you wish, go to bed. If it's probably a lot of the Australian, New Zealand. Oh, you can still see one. I don't know how many, but there's still a few New Zealand devotees there. It must be about 11:30 at night there, I think. Very late now, yeah. There's Australia, New Zealand, quite a few from that part of the world. We have Scotland, we have England, New Zealand. There's quite a few from New Zealand. We have Czech Republic and Slovakia and Australia and Germany and Fiji and I don't know, quite a few other places, I guess. France is there. Ireland. Russia is Perm. Prem, not Perm. There's our dear Anuradha in Perm in Russia. Perm is a city in the center of Russia. And she's living in Perm. I call it Prema, not Perm. Oh, there's also Lithuania or Estonia. I don't know where. Amala, where are you right now? Estonia? Lithuania? Latvia? Where are you? He's in the spiritual world. Can't say, he's muted. Anyway, wherever he is. But Perm, it's on a river called the River Kama. And we know Kama means lust, but in the real meaning of Kama is Kamarupa, is the form of it's intensive loving exchange on the spiritual platform, the mood of the gopis there, of Krishna, Kamarupa. So they have prema there on the river Kamarupa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Come on, Tom, chant. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Don't stay silent. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Solo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Follow. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Gauranga, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Bolo Bolo, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Bolo Bolo, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Gauranga, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Gauranga, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Jaya Satchinandana, 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 Jaya Gaura Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gaura Hari ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaura Chandra ki jai, Shri Nitai Sachi Sutta ki jai, Shri Nitai Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Go Premanande. Haribo. Silence. Haribo.
Haribo! Haribo!
Hare Krishna.
Jai!
Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Wherever you are in France,
Thank you.
in Australia, in India, New Zealand, Fiji, America, Europe, somewhere in Europe, England, Australia, there, Ireland, everywhere else.
Haribo!
Malaysia, Philippines. Hare Krishna. Go Premanande.
Haribo.
Gauranga.
Gauranga! Thank you.